Hey everybody, it's Informed and Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bobby.
And now we are on Volume 3, Episode 9.
Man, it's
PvP.
Been waiting for this fight. Eventually, because they're both crazy powerhouses.
Oh yeah, this is one of those ones where it's like,
their skill
who
alone.
the heck is going to win this thing?
Yeah, even if like.
Yeah, before we get started, who you putting your money on? Lay your bets.
I think that it's going to be a horrific draw. They're both going to be outed. One of them's going to be disqualified, meaning the match is forfeit.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, it's going to fuck up Pyrrha in some way.
That would make both of the quarterfinal matches end in disqualifications.
Well, see, and that's the thing is,
I don't think is there anything illegal about being an android?
Legal about being an android, and everybody is immediately going to see this person that they've put on a pedestal and going, oh, wait a minute. So you've just been really cleverly cheating this whole time?
Well, using your semblance isn't cheating.
But that's not the perception. As Ironwood has already said, it's going to be what the crowd thinks. They've already been disappointed once.
And the villains are playing psychological games with the audience at this point.
They are actively making this an angry, upset, hateful, spiteful beacon, specifically to draw in as many Grimm as possible.
Especially now there's that big open hole in their wall.
Right.
That they smashed the train through.
Well, Glinda fixed that, remember?
No, the one that was on the news were the elephants and the burrowing ones.
Yeah, I thought they were coming in through that massive hole.
No, that's Mountain Glen. That's Grimm activity in Mountain Glen.
Oh, okay.
The abandoned city.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought that was them like pouring into the city and.
No.
I was always under the impression that train that they got on was going from Mountain Glen back to Beacon, and they smashed through the plug on the Beacon side, opening Beacon.
And then Glinda fixed it.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed Glenda fixing it somehow.
But I do think the fact that they are starting to amass and become more active in Mountain Glen is.
Yeah. Although there might have been a shot in there of some Grimm on a freeway.
Yeah.
I think that might have been, but that would have been just Grimm coming into the city because there is no actual hard wall around the city.
Okay.
They rely on the fact that they have the mountain range and then just huntsmen getting any of the few that poke through.
Got you.
But now we're getting to the point where because of what happened, there's a spike so there's more of them than usual coming through. But.
I'm just allergic to all the bullshit in the air.
All right. Episode 3E9 PvP. Here we go. It's become a tradition at this point that at least once the audio has to get knocked out. That's the worst it's been. It actually took a while to fix.
And it's only our audio, not you who are watching this.
And it's happening during the intro. So. Oh, I was going to ask you, while the intro's going, all interference aside, assuming it's a fair, straight fight, who do you think wins, Pyrrha or Penny?
Pyrrha.
You think Pyrrha takes it?
Yeah.
Now time to begin the randomization process for our next fight.
It looks like our first contender is Penny Polendina from Atlas. And her opponent will be Pyrrha Nico from Beacon.
Salutations, Pyrrha Nikos. It's an honor to finally meet you. to be so much
Did she get the
fun.
powers already?
No, she hasn't done that yet.
Does she know that?
That's not something they do off screen.
What
Yeah.
are you doing? You were hurt. Why? What's going on?
You're so naive.
Fine. If you're not going to tell me,
Fighter, are you ready? Three, two, one. Begin!
Showtime.
He's fast.
Well,
Let's just keep this between us friends.
My word! What a tremendous display by Miss Paulinina!
And of course, then.
well, we saw cannon mode. Now this is.
Yeah.
You hear it? The
Oh. Because they're magnetized.
No!
Penny.
Broadcast, what are you doing? Kill the feed!
Something's wrong. We don't have control over the cameras. We can't even shut off the broadcast.
What? How is that possible?
This is not a tragedy. This was not an accident. This is what happens when you hand over your trust, your safety, your children, to men who claim to be our guardians, but are, in reality, nothing more than men. Our academy's headmasters wield more power than most armies, and one was audacious enough to control both. They cling to this power in the name of peace, and yet, what do we have here? One nation's attempt at a synthetic army, mercilessly torn apart by another star pupil. What need would Atlas have for a soldier disguised as an innocent little girl? I don't think the Grimm can tell the difference. And what, I ask you, is Osmond teaching his students? First a dismemberment, now this? Huntsmen and huntresses should carry themselves with honor and mercy. Yet I have witnessed neither. Perhaps Osmond felt as though defeating Atlas in the tournament would help people forget his colossal failure to protect Vale when the Grimm invaded its streets. Or perhaps this was his message to the tyrannical dictator that has occupied an unsuspecting kingdom with armed forces. Honestly, I haven't the slightest clue as to who is right and who is wrong. But I know that the existence of peace is fragile, and the leaders of our kingdoms conduct their business with iron gloves. As someone who hails from Mistral, I can assure you, the situation there is equally undesirable. Our kingdoms are at the brink of war. Yet we, the citizens, are left in the dark. So I ask you, when the first shots are fired, who do you think you can trust?
The feeds are all jammed. We can't get a message out.
Will somebody tell me what in the world is happening?
Literally telling you step by step, man. Pay attention.
Alert. Incoming Grimm attack. Threat level 9. Please seek shelter in a calm and orderly manner.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, there is no need for panic.
Maybe now.
How did he get past the kingdom's defenses?
It wasn't alone.
Oz, get to the city. But now!
Hamburger. Hamburger.
And Goliath said we're waiting for something? They ain't waiting anymore.
Osmond, the girl, I can explain.
You brought your army to my kingdom, James. Use it.
Damn it! This is Blue 4. Blues 2 and 3, fall into defensive position.
Roger. Blue 3, in position.
Blue 2, what's your status?
Blue 2, come in! Someone answer me, damn it!
Well, it's about time.
He's gonna commandeer he's gonna shoot them all down. Oh. Oh. So well played. And he's gonna keep it too.
Oh, it is good to be back.
Bring them to their knees.
So they can and are being controlled.
At least carried for a while.
Subdued. Pacified.
Briefly contained. Long enough to get them the way they wanted them to. At least. And that is PvP.
That was a solid episode and exactly what I thought was going to happen. It was a shame to bring everybody to their knees. They shamed Penny, and in using Penny, they shamed Ironwood. At the same time, she tore down and what's Osmond teaching his best student? That it's just okay to tear people in half. So immediately discredited her. Then on top of that, it caused Ironwood to try and scramble. and go for his army, but Cinder had already planned for that and then used his own army against it. So she literally went, "You're weak."
There are multiple layers of things going on here.
Oh,
which
but
what makes it bloody wonderful.
But it's like a house of cards, and she just took a leaf blower to the bottom half.
They built this sucker up, and I see it more as like Jenga tower. She has been strategically removing Jenga blocks that aren't going to bring this sumbitch down, but gets it to the point where one more block goes down, and not only does it fall, but it falls exactly where she wants it to.
Right.
All right. Well, let's just pick this up in from the beginning here. Obviously, we pick back up with the start of the fight.
Yep.
Penny versus Pyrrha, which is a great fight on its own merits, just right off the bat. And then we get Ruby and Mercury as he's trying to keep her from getting away to go warn anybody.
I was not expecting him to be faster than her.
Yeah, I mean he's not like in terms of running speed, but she tried to go right by him, and he just was able to. The same way people will be able to stop the Flash sometimes. It's simply a matter of you can predict where they're going to be, when they're going to be. It doesn't matter how fast.
Proper application of timing and force.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how fast they're moving, as long as if you can put a blockage in front of them, their speed becomes a liability at that point because they can't stop. Yeah, so the two of them are duking it out, and he keeps her contained long enough for the fight to play out until Penny's about to win, and which I maintain if Emerald hadn't interfered there, I think Penny would have had that, personally. Just the too many blades. Pyrrha can't.
But Pyrrha did.
True, but I don't think she would. I don't think she would have reacted in that manner if what happened hadn't happened. So,
I think it would have naturally been pushed to that point. Pyrrha would have come to a point where she realized she was overwhelmed, or she's going to have to use her semblance a little more boldly. She's very reserved with her with her semblance. It's just, I was realistically, because she was pulling her sword towards her. Couldn't she have just taken Penny and gone?
If she had known.
Fair.
Yeah.
Pyrrha thought she was fighting another girl.
Yeah.
Human.
If she thought she was using her semblance purely on the blades to knock all those blades back. Yeah. So a couple things happening here. Number one, there are not nearly that many blades, so all that force is being applied to much smaller area, which means they're going way more force on each one of those blades, on each one of those cables. Also, because Penny is herself metallic, she basically freezes in the blast, which means she's not controlling the blades anymore, and they all just get pushed straight back. So the cables go slack and taut, wrap around her as they go back, and then catch.
Yep.
And rip. And she gets ripped into like 4 different pieces.
I think that had people known about Penny's wires and had people known about the polarity effect, those two probably would not have been paired up, period.
Oh, no. If this was like a legit thing and everybody knew she was an android and everybody knew Pyrrha had polarity powers.
Game.
It would either that or both of those fighters would have known what they were walking into. And then, Pyrrha would have had the major advantage because she could basically just Magneto that shit.
It's also
like Magneto with Wolverine, just up, over, down, you lost. Unless, because like Penny does that thing where she'll use the gun version of her blades as like rocket boosters.
Yeah.
To propel herself. If that worked well enough to push past her polarity, she might be able to do something. But no, if Pyrrha knows she's fighting an android, that's
also didn't they state back during the Pyrrha Mercury fight in the classroom that she has to touch the thing first?
Nope, she doesn't have to touch it.
Oh, okay. I thought that was established during the last fight.
He says, touch my boots, because that's what happened. She touched his boots.
Yeah, because he makes a comment about how she touched my boots and then she was able to control me.
She touched my boots and she was able to control it. That was simply stating order of events. One is not contingent upon the other. That's just how it happened in that particular instance. But yeah, so R.I.P. Penny.
No.
You watched
I don't
the
think
light
so.
fade from her eyes.
No, you saw the power drain from her cells. I don't think she's dead.
Well, the question is, what happened to her aura? To her soul? When she shut down, did that snuff her aura?
No, I don't think so.
Because if her aura is gone, then...
If there's going to end up being some random huge fucking twist where it's like, oh man, we're going to give so-and-so the power of autumn, and then we'll put Penny's aura into the dead girl's body, and then Penny's a real girl. I swear to God, if that's what happens. I swear to God, if that's what happens. All right.
Well,
tune in next time to find out whether or not I've had a brain aneurysm over this shit.
Yeah, no, but because certainly Ruby reacted like she's
Dead. Well, of course.
like she's dead.
Ruby is very emotional, so I would expect nothing less.
And certainly for everybody else in that audience, no one knew she was an android, so they just watched a little girl get ripped to pieces.
Right. Until there was no blood.
Well, because the way I like to think of it, or I think of it as, is if Penny had been a human being, and what happened to her, this would be an NC-17 right now. The level of gore they would have just put on screen.
Oh yeah.
They drawed and quartered her.
Like a human being the size of a bug on a windshield.
Yeah. So, and obviously that emotional outburst from that was enough that the Grimm are coming.
Yep.
And they're coming in force.
I would go so far as to say the Grimm are now arrived.
Yeah.
They
got a little help from the White Fang.
Finished coming.
Oh, I don't think they finished. I think they're going to keep coming. But, and like I said, the White Fang are bringing them as well because they're basically it's a matter of the Grimm that we see storming everything. They're attacking the city. The White Fang are dropping Grimm into the school specifically because the school is up on a cliff by itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just making sure
making sure there's Grimm everywhere.
The Grimm get everywhere. Yeah.
You get a Grimm, and you get a Grimm, and you get a Grimm.
It's definitely a grim situation.
Yes. And, those people in that stadium is giant frickin' Nevermore trying to break in.
You would assume that if they knew that Grimm were attracted to negative emotions, that these people would be like, let's think critically of this situation before we allow ourselves.
Well, these people are people.
Humans are emotional
People
beings.
have emotional responses, and
not everyone can
control their emotions.
Yeah.
Weaponizing people's emotions against them. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That
is exactly what Cinder did.
Villain's gonna vil every time.
Yeah. And then we get Cinder's little speech here, which is just goes into multiple different levels. Because the first thing she's doing, obviously, is she's just trying to frighten everybody. And she's also trying to turn people against each other because she basically
discredit the leaders
of both kingdoms. Because she posits two possibilities. That either this is Ozpin ordered Pyrrha to do this as a warning to Ironwood, or that Ironwood is sneaking around with these secret robots, and oh my God, look, he just brought a military to this kingdom and occupied the entire capital city.
Insinuating that Ozpin is just bad at teaching, and look at how horribly trained she is that she just murdered someone.
Not that she's bad at teaching, but that she was given an order to deliberately do what she did. That she and Ozpin knew.
I'm talking about the option if. But keep going.
Yeah, but or the idea that
it's not worth spinning out.
The idea that Ironwood has, without even breaking a sweat, managed to low-key take over another country.
Yeah.
Under false pretenses, and I like there's a subtle little moment where, as they're saying that, even Ozpin for a second turns around and looks out the window at the airships flying around his window. Mm-hmm. So even he's got that little bit of a...
Damn, she's right.
A doubt in the back of his head just for a minute. So... Yeah. And obviously, so now we know why they hijacked the communication systems.
Right, to keep everybody from talking to each other.
And so they could do this.
Yep.
And that broadcast
and why Cinder was so happy when Torchwick ended up getting arrested.
Yep. Because he's on board there, and then he sent Neo up there to break him out, and they took over that airship and took the other two capital ships, for lack of a better word, out.
Yep.
In one swift move, taking the third one off the table, and the White Thing are also invading, and it's just...
It is absolute chaos.
We've gone from 0 to 100 on this sucker.
And the Grimm know it.
Yeah.
Things are looking bleak.
Yep. I don't think it'll surprise you to know that the title of the next episode is Battle of Beacon.
Battle of Beacon.
Yeah.
A+ for alliteration.
Did I have anything else? The one other thing we got it was a little thing, given it's in the middle of this giant spiel, who knows if it's accurate or not, Cinder did claim to be from Mistral. So that is maybe potentially a little bit more about her.
I thought that might have
that we know where she's from.
I thought that was just her spinning a tale.
Yeah, or it could just be, I might as well throw Mistral under the bus while I'm at it.
Yeah.
And just claim to be from Mistral and talk about how it's just that bad as well. Mm-hmm. So everybody else thinks.
That's how I had interpreted it first, but now you got me curious.
It could be, it's been said. So it's like, is she put that out deliberately? Is it a deliberate deception? Is it just her gloating? Is it
how you can tell if Cinder's lying? Her mouth is moving.
Hell, doesn't even have to be that. But I think that's. Have I covered everything? Did I miss
think
anything?
So. Yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm. Though I was to say I do like that even though Osmond has that little moment.
Yeah.
He gets on the phone with Ironwood, and Ironwood's trying to defend himself, and Osmond knows better, just cuts to the chase. He's like, you brought your military to my kingdom, use it.
Yep. And then they scramble very poorly for a military force.
Yeah. They're like, I don't think they really have time to scramble. It's kind of the thing is, all of a sudden, there's this horde of Grimm starts coming in. They're all just kind of in like a defensive, they're all just kind of there, waiting for something to happen. They're not really like defending against anything in particular, because what were they defending against? They're defending against what we know is 3 people,
right,
in disguise, right? That was kind of the whole point, like Osmond made, this giant defense for what we think is like 1 or 2 infiltrators,
Right.
So what are you defending against? And so all those Grimm show up, and then one of the 2 ships immediately gets hijacked and takes out the other 2 before they can move.
By one person.
2 people, but yeah, one. Realistically, one. Neo takes that thing over by herself.
Like hardcore.
Yeah.
Where's all your fancy robots? Where are your red and blues? Where is it? Oh, got it. Paracel girl beat him up. My bad.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Neo is badass. Neo punches way the hell outside her weight class.
Yeah, she does.
Way, especially since I think she is the second shortest named character on this show.
Except for Ruby.
Nope.
Isn't Ruby shorter than
an
her?
Atlas character?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also, there's also a small child who is a named character, but he's like 1 year old. I don't count that. He's a baby. So.
Yeah. Does it also turn into a gun?
The baby?
The baby?
Everything else turns into a gun.
Oh, well,
we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Anyways, all right. I do think that is now. So that'll be it for this episode. If you guys like this, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, bell for notifications. Find us at Twitter at InfoConfused, and find our podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and here on YouTube. We are Informed and Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bobby.
See you next time.